Hello everyone and welcome. So today I would like to show you how to cite a chapter in an edited book as an in-text citation and an end-of-text citation. So to remember to look for books on QU Library, you want to use the Library Catalog tab here. Do not use this one search. Some errors have been reported with this one search tab, so please do not use this one. For books, you use Library Catalog. For e-resources, you click on here and go to the ProQuest database. And all of that is in the video that's already been uploaded on QU Library. So Library Catalog for books. So for example, if we are writing about climate change, and remember that this will generate a list of books from the QU library that are related to climate change. And I'm going to scroll down because let's say I'm writing about the effects that climate change has on agriculture. So I'm interested in this book, number 5. I know it's an ebook because of this symbol here. And that brings me to this page. So the first thing you'll notice here when it talks about the details of the book is it gives the name, the last name of the author, comma, his first name initial, which stands for Emmanuel, and then it says editor. So what that means is that he is not the author of the book, he's the editor. So other people probably wrote different chapters in the book, and his job was to read all those chapters and make changes, edit them, etc. So if you come across a book like this and you see either editor on the cover or you see ED, which is the abbreviation, or EDS, if there's multiple editors, then you need to cite it as a chapter in an edited book as your in-text and end-of-text citations. So for example here, when I click on Connect to Online Resource, it brings me to the book, how I can download the book. And you'll notice here, so if you're confused about whether or not a book has an editor or an author, usually on the cover, you'll see one name or multiple names, and you'll see the word editor or editors. So what that means is that it is a book with an editor. So for most of you, you're probably only going to use one chapter from this book or maybe multiple chapters. But if you do that, you have to cite each one individually as a chapter from an edited book. So for example, let's say I'm interested in this chapter here, Hazards, Vulnerability, and Risk. And then I have the chapter. So I'm going to cite this as an individual source. So this is a chapter in an edited book. Now, if you go to OWL Purdue, so remember this is the website we suggest that you use. The link is on Blackboard under Term Paper APA. And this has all the rules for APA. So it shows you the end of text reference here, if you scroll down, for an article or chapter in an edited book. So this is the format that you would use if you were to cite an article or chapter in an edited book. Please note where you see things like this, where it's written in italics, that means you have to write it in italics. Where you have capital T, but then the other letters are not capital, that means you only capitalize the first letter. And again, I went over some of those rules for capital letters and italics in the term paper outline video number 1. So if you would like a refresher on that, then feel free to watch that video again. But this is the format you want to use for citing a chapter in an edited book. Now note here that on this page for this chapter, so if you wanted to cite it, it does have this little way to go to cite as. Okay, and it brings you to this. But be careful because this is not APA. This is a different citation style. So if you were to just copy and paste this, it has multiple errors because it's not APA. It's a different citation style. So just note that. You can copy and then paste this, but then you have to fix it according to the actual rules for APA, which is here. This is how it has to actually look. So I went ahead and did it for you. So you have the author's last name and comma, and this is the first name initial, full stop, the year, parentheses, full stop. So this is the title of the chapter. The first letter gets capitalized, the other words do not get capitalized, and there's no italics. Then you put the name of the editor, first name initial first, followed by his last name. And then in parentheses, you put ED, which represents editor, comma, this is the name of the book, Climate Change in Agriculture Worldwide. First letter gets capitalized and it gets written in italics. And then in parentheses here, you're going to see PP. Those stand for page numbers. So these are the page numbers of the chapter. It starts on page 19 and ends on page 29. Now, if we were using the actual physical copy of the book, this would be correct. We have the publishing company here and then this main city where it's represented. But we're not using the physical copy of the book. We have an ebook. So that's where this information, again, if you're on the chapter and you go down to Cite As, that's where this information becomes very useful because you have here what is called the DOI, which represents kind of like the digital ID number where you got it from. So in this case, you could just copy this and put it into your end of text reference. And then you would delete that. Now, please note that my word here has defaulted to a different type of font. It has not put it into Times New Roman, so I have to change it to Times New Roman because that's what you need. I also need to change it to 12. And I also need to remove this, which you notice I'm going to do a separate video on this, on how to remove hyperlinks, because a lot of you are putting hyperlinks. So you'll notice it's blue and it's underlined. So that's called a hyperlink. What that means is you can just click on it and it goes to the website directly. You don't want any of those in your reference list. So sometimes you just have to highlight it and then right click and then remove hyperlink. Okay. So that would be our end of text citation. No, ignore that. This would be our end of text citation for this book here, this chapter in an edited book. Let me go to the beginning. So this is the chapter title, this is the book, and again, it's an edited book. So that's important because some of you I know are working with edited books, so you have to cite it differently as an end of text citation. And then in the in-text citation, you're just going to use the author of the chapter, so Gillard here. So the in-text citation would be Gillard 2015 because he or she, Olivier, I think that's a he, is the author of the actual chapter. Okay, that concludes this video. Hope you're all having a great day.